welcome to tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League, live from Daytona International Speedway. This is the Welts Clothing Doubleheader. And joining me, as always, in the broadcast booth is Joe Annunziata. Joe, back again for another season here at TNR. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it feels great to be back. We had so much fun last season. The races were all great. So excited to do it again.
Yeah, and this is going to be great. 2 races here tonight for TNR, both 40-lap twin races, and these races are all counting for points. It's not like it's a dual race where it's going to set up qualifying for anything. These are all live racing. All points are going to be counting, and tonight is going to be a very fun one out there. Big pack here, group qualifying here for the Total Nonstop Racing League, as we see the 25 of Chris Cabot, provisional pole sitter for now, trying to back it down to get onto pit road, slides, locks things up. And this is the kind of experience that you're going to want to have now in qualifying, just because, all right, you know, it's not going to count. Qualifying isn't really going to be super important when it comes to these kind of plate races, but we'll see how all of that is going to be played out as the season goes on, as we have some great cameras taking a look at this pack of guys going around out there on qualifying with just under a minute and a half left.
Yeah, the cameras we have really just fantastic shots around the track. Catches everything. Love to see it.
That is for sure. Taking a look over at the chat, RC Plains chiming in saying, welcome back, TNR. Glad to have something to watch on Monday now that football's over. And good luck, Philip Scott. So far, Chris Cabot has the fastest lap. His teammate, Tim Johnston, they're in second so far. We see the 55 of Steven Doziak in front. He is actually our in-car, in-race reporter for tonight's race. As we see Doze here trying to take a peek to the outside of the 28 of Jamar Dumas. We'll have enough time for one more lap with 15 seconds left. It's going to be a matter of just trying to see, all right, what rungs are going to go where? What can we do? So we'll be checking in on Doze as this race goes on. So Tim Johnston goes to the front of the leaderboard with a 45.5. Chris Cabot, Ace House in third right now at the moment. Doze pushing Dumas. And oh, contact across the line.
Ooh.
So that'll negate whatever lap that was for both House and Doziak.
Yeah. That's a shame. They look like they were going to put up a good time.
But right now it looks like Tim Johnston is your provisional pole sitter, at least for now, as it looks like everyone else has left the track. That can only mean one thing, Joe. We're getting ready to go racing.
Can't wait.
So 40 laps out there for the first race of this doubleheader. And as soon as things cycle through, we're going to get ourselves a look at the starting lineup for tonight's Welts Clothing doubleheader, the first race of 2 tonight. Make sure you check out our friends at weltsclothing.com. They have everything you need, and these clothes that they have are absolutely fantastic. You got to check them out. weltsclothing.com.
I may or may not have put a order in.
Yeah, they are absolutely fantastic. And Welts, they stand for strength through adversity, and it's the ability to keep going when any rational person would quit. They keep struggling until it pays off, and that is exactly what is going on for them, you got to check them out, weltsclothing.com. But right now, let's get a peek at the starting lineup for tonight's race. On pole is the number 82 of Tim Johnston. Johnston on his outside is going to have his teammate of Dizzy Motorsports, the 25 of Chris Cabot. Row number 2, we see the 47 of Ace House alongside Jamar Dumas. Row number 3 has Steven Doziak and Philip Scott. Row number 4 has this number 60 newcomer to the league, Ryan Cole, and on his outside is going to be the 8 of John Cannizzaro, or the 77 of John Cannizzaro Jr. Row number 5 has the 35 of Robert Tripp and Jason Shue. Row number 6 has Shane Ewing and Jacob Bettis. Row number 7, Jonathan Gaston, Garrett Gleason, Adam Stewart, and Danny White round out the 16-car field for this first race. So we can see the field getting out on track. Minding their P's and Q's. And right now, Joe, what's going through these drivers' heads?
Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Don't get too close. Don't get too far. Don't get too close. Don't get too far. At least that's my thoughts on it whenever I'm lined up like this.
And honestly, I completely agree with that statement. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of, all right, careful with the push. And, we talk about it every single time these cars come to a super speedway race. These cars are shaped like a wedge, unlike the modern next-gen era NASCAR cars. So the front end is a lot lower than the back bumper of the race car. And because of that, the front end will get underneath the back bumper and actually lift the rear wheels up off the ground, causing the car to just completely lose any sort of handling, lose control of the car. Next thing you know, the guy you're pushing is backwards, upside down, and taking out the rest of the field. So you want to kind of keep that bump to a minimum, almost air push, and get the little bubble of air pocket that grows behind the car and kind of push the other guy forward that way. But we'll see how this one goes. The pace car pulls off. Green flag is in the air. And the 2025A Total Nonstop Racing Shoes Lawn Care Service Grand National Series is underway here at Daytona.
See what we get.
Johnston out to a pretty good start. He's got Ace House just behind him. That outside line is starting to gain a little bit of momentum as Chris Cabot has a good push from the 99 of Philip Scott. John Cannizzaro is in there as well. Jason Shue is racing too. So now we're 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Philip Scott up the inside. Johnston is going to lead lap 1, but Philip Scott there on the outside. They're still looking 3 wide. Chris Cabot kind of stuck up on the outside. Jason Shue thought about sticking it in there 3 wide, decides against it.
A fair decision.
Cody777 over on YouTube says, let's go Ace House. Ace looking strong, started P3. Just kind of hanging out there behind the leaders. Right now it's those nerves. It's the, okay, what can my car do?
Yeah, there's a lot of that, right?
Yeah,
there's an interesting track, 35-degree bank turns, so these guys are just all gas.
Oh, yeah. All gas, no brakes, sliding around.
What was our weather looking like? I think it was a pretty good weather day, right? 81.
Yeah, 81 degree outside, 117 degree track temp, so things could get a little slidey there as the race goes on, as the sun heats up the racing surface. Clear skies too. We've got ourselves a pretty good looking gaggle of cars right now. Whole field all there. Looks like Robert Tripp has lost the draft back in 15th. And Adam Stewart having a couple of connection issues. Hopefully he's able to get them sorted out.
Mm.
As we jump on board here with the 82 of Tim Johnston. You can hear him feather the throttle just a little bit heading off into the corner. That's a mixture of just trying to save a little bit of fuel while also trying to not run over the guy in front of him. Justin House cheering on Ace in the chat as well. As we see the field thunder down the back straightaway. At almost 200 miles an hour. No big deal.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Cannizzaro looking to try to do something here as Jason Shu out front. And a cool story with Jason Shu this year. He is going to be going ARCA racing in real life. And he's trying to run at Rockingham when ARCA makes a stop there. He's looking for sponsorship, so make sure if you have a couple bucks and you want to get your name out on a race car, reach out to Shu and he will gladly talk with you. Rockingham has always been his bread and butter, whether he's racing in any of the regional series, whether he's racing here. Now jumping into ARCA, that is just awesome to see.
Yeah, ARCA is fantastic. One of my buddies does it, and he's like, "Just let me know. I'll let you use the car." I'm like, "Stop it! Don't enable me. Stop it."
No relation to the other Annunziata that races in ARCA right now.
No, which is wild.
Though they are both from New Jersey.
This is true, yes.
Which I think that Annunziata is also racing Xfinity in a couple of starts here and there.
I don't think we're related.
But there's always a chance.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? We were everywhere, so it's it's possible.
Yeah. Chris Cabot winds up leading that lap. He's got Cannizzaro to his inside. Shane Ewing giving him a great push behind. There's newcomer driving the 60. That's Ryan Cole. Cole just joined TNR earlier today. And he's out there on track right now. A little wall scrape there from one of the drivers in the back. The field's starting to, still just trying to feel each other out. They know, okay, we've still got a ways to go. 33, 32 to go here at the line.
Still, for the most part, very tight together as a pack. We lost one person so far, with Tripp kind of falling behind. But outside of that, still anyone's race here.
Yeah, and I'm sure right now, out of anyone, Tripp saying, guys, a yellow would be really, really nice right about now.
Right. Well, we almost just had one as Doziak kind of tapped the wall a little bit.
Yeah, a little tap there on the wall by Doze. The 77 to Cannizzaro said, all right, I've had enough leading. I'm going to save some fuel, get back in line, let these guys go and use more fuel. Is now Gabo and Shu side by side. think we'll give Shu that lap lead.
Yeah, we'd have to go into the thousands of seconds to figure out who was what.
Yeah. I think iRacing measures things all the way down to the 100,000ths of seconds.
Ah.
As we see Shane Ewing giving his teammate Chris Cabot a huge push. They're going to drop down in front of the 3 of Shu. Field coming through the tri-oval now. In case you ever wanted to know what it's like getting ran over at 200 miles an hour, that was your camera angle.
You'd never know what happened.
No.
As soon as you got hit.
And you could really see just the speed that everyone's running right now. And they're all kind of sitting there at this point just saying, all right, you know what? We're good. We did our racing. We're side by side now. Let's all try to save some fuel, see what we can do here. And as we say that, of course, that's when the outside line starts to develop again.
Well, they, have to make you look bad. They are also, some of them do listen in while they're racing, even though we're on a delay.
That is true, too.
They're like, oh, yeah, Bob, watch this.
Yeah, oftentimes we'll see drivers even comment while they're racing, saying,
which
hey,
is
that's not what I meant.
Which is like wild, the level of text and drive.
Yeah, remember, kids, don't text and drive.
Especially not at 200.
Man, turnpike's one thing, but hey.
But I guess, when your foot's on the floor and you really can't get anyone in front of you, I guess you're not going to rear end anybody. But
that is true.
The wall is,
Yeah, no one's going to be sitting there and brake testing you at 200 miles an hour. That you know
those walls do come out of nowhere.
And, typically when we see guys go from racing side by side and the whole field gets down to single file, oftentimes that'll wind up being a bit of a precursor to everyone coming down to pit. Obviously, way too early for them to come down and pit and be able to make it the rest of the way. I'd probably guess that we'll see him around lap 25 to 30, give or take, if there's no yellow. But, I mean, they very well could be in the fuel window now, but I'm not seeing that happening, especially because there's always that chance of, A, a big wreck, and B, someone wrecks getting onto pit road. There's a yellow right there.
That is true.
Let's check in with our in-race reporter, Stephen Doziak, because right now Doze currently sitting back in P10, just kind of riding. Just riding right now, saving some fuel. And right now, I think if I were out there, I'd want to be right around where Doze is, just far away from the pack, that if something happens, you'll be able to get out of the way of a wreck, but close enough to, all right, when it's go time, we can actually get going.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm ride or die. I want to be in the front. If we're crashing, it was probably my fault.
You know what? That is fair. That is absolutely fair.
I don't want to leave it to chance. I don't want someone else to crash. If we're crashing, it's because I did it.
And as we say that, some folks heading down pit road.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people had the same idea at the same time.
Yeah, some big lockups there. Everyone seems to have gotten onto pit road just fine. So it looks like we have Shu, Dumas, Doze, and Bettis, as well as Gleason down there on pit road. And it's going to be interesting to see what the rest of the field is going to do. Everyone down and away, no issues there. As Dumas leads them off. We'll take a look now as we see the field coming out of turn number 4. Who is going to be pitting this time? No one. So the first group of cars that pit are coming down the backstretch now. They're entering turn 3. The field is right down the middle of the backstretch. Getting ready to put the rest of these guys a lap down. It is going to be interesting to see if and when these guys wind up coming down pit road, or are they just going to run it out till it's dry?
Yeah. I wonder what the plan is.
And now here's the field. They are catching Doze and company. But they're a little bit underpowered at the moment because both Gleason and Shu had long pit stops. Shu 1 lap down, Gleason a lap down. Shu actually about to be put a second lap down. And right now that's your leader, Shane Ewing. Ace House running in 4th right now. Field getting single file. Everyone stays out. Leaders
I wonder if
going around the outside.
I wonder if everybody pits at the same time. Like the next 9 or 10, I should say. If Tripp is able to just get a lead lap just real quick.
I mean, he very well could. He's right now. He still has yet to be lapped. The only thing that's kind of hurting him right now is the fact that he's so far behind everyone. The second he comes down pit road, he's going to lose 1, definitely 2, possibly. But right now, there goes some more people down pit road. There's Cole, Cannizzaro, and Stewart. So that is going to leave the top 6 drivers without... No, Cannizzaro... Who's that? Cole.
Still having issues in the pits.
And that's actually going to wind up hurting the 77 as well, because they were nose to tail.
Bro, he's having a lot of issues in the pits.
Still having more issues. He's going to back up.
It's like it's not locking him in.
That is disaster there for the 60. Meanwhile, here comes the field. That's Cole getting a lap down. Oh, Ewing in the wall.
I mean, all things considered, that's a good save.
That's not even a good save. That's an incredible save. Wow.
To save there and still pull and not fall down into the rest of the pack is...
Let's take a quick look at that one, because that was wild. So here's the field coming out of turn 4 across the line. Just like I mentioned in the pre-race, just you get a little too much underneath the car. That's going to send you around in a hurry. What a save there by Shane Ewing. And with that, he still hung on to the lead pack.
Yeah, that's...
And didn't
crazy.
touch anything.
Crazy save on that one.
So we got 19 laps to go. Jason Shu pushing the 25 of Gabo. Shu is 2 laps down. So Shu trying to just get around Gabo to get his 1 lap back. But with Shu being 2 down right now, he's just kind of almost like a blocker for Gabo. He's got Johnston behind him. So now Johnston, in order to get the lead, is going to have to pass both Shu and Gabo.
Yeah, that's a rough spot for Shu.
Yeah, and honestly, if I'm Gabo right now, I might even sit there and say, all right, hey, Shu, go ahead. I'll give you your lap back. I'm going to tuck behind you and use you to try to save some semblance of fuel.
That makes a lot of sense.
And also, if I'm Shu, I'm a little bit nervous saying, all right, just if you decide to pit, make it known. Announce it on the radio. Don't just pull, because I'm not going to know, and I do not want to wreck the leader.
Yeah.
Leader's getting ready to put Cannizzaro a lap down. And in theory, anyone who's one lap down right now is going to get their lap back once the leaders pit.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see where everyone winds up cycling around. But Shu pushing hard on that number 25 machine.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's making it easy, huh?
Absolutely not. Here's Dumas taking a peek to the top side. He's got a little bit of help from Cannizzaro, who's a lap down. Bettis probably going to fill the spot there behind Johnston. Now the outside is just Dumas and Cannizzaro. They do work well together. Here comes Bettis to try to take a peek to the top side. Now we've got ourselves a bit of a drag race to the line. Coming up to 15 laps to go. Here comes the Dizzy Motorsports squad plus Robert Tripp to head down pit road. Big lock up there for the 25. Looks like he should be able to stay on the lead lap, or pardon me, should be able to stay under pit road speed.
As the pace car driver stares into my soul.
Yeah, that is creepy. As Gabo is down and away, Johnston down and away. There's Shane Ewing as well. They are quite a bit spread out. So if I'm Ewing right now, I'm going to want to hustle just to try to catch up. Meanwhile, out front, the leader is the 99 of Philip Scott. Currently, Gaston and Scott are the only two that have yet to pit. Everyone else has pit already. And there they go. Scott and Gaston both making their way down onto pit road. Gaston in way deep. He goes in the grass. That's going to be a black flag.
Oh. It only takes a couple blades of grass.
That one little touch. iRacing likely. Oh, and Gaston overshoots his pit box too.
Oh, man, just insult to injury.
Just a couple of small mistakes. And that might hurt Gaston immensely. And after all that, these two drivers are going to be inheriting the lead, Chris Gabo and Tim Johnston. And look at this massive gap that they have. And I mentioned, if I'm the 32 Ewing, I'm going to be pushing hard to try to stay up with these guys. Look at this now. Gabo and Johnston. Actually, with Philip Scott on pit road still, they're going to cycle back around to eventually take over the lead. As Philip Scott just coming off the pit road right now. but he's all by his lonesome. And they're going to fly by him like he's standing still, but Philip Scott can get right in the draft, and hopefully this is going to be able to pull him along. But they've got a 4.5 second gap back to Jamar Dumas and the rest of the field. There's our track map that you see. Currently watching the 99 of Philip Scott. His number is highlighted there in green. Down the back straightaway. And you could see that gap. They're single file behind him. As Jamar Dumas, he sees that white speck in his windshield. And that's where they're going to have to go. They have 12 laps to do it. Question may not be if, it's just going to be when, and can you hold on?
Yeah, really.
Seven cars are likely going to be faster than 2 cars. They've already cut the gap by a second. Johnson, meanwhile, all the way out front, still pushing. Philip Scott has caught up with them too. So this is the race here. Top 3 separated by just about 2.5 seconds now. And that second pack is charging. Over in chat, our third member of the Tabletop Trio podcast, Graham's joining us, saying Ace House is definitely popular tonight. That is for sure. Want to thank everyone out there watching this tonight on both YouTube and on Twitch. If you like what you see, it would definitely help us out to give us a like on the video, follow us, subscribe over on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitch as well. Lap car, Jonathan Gaston pulling over, letting the leaders by. He's going to get right back in that draft just to hang around with the cars, because it's much better to race in the pack than it is all by yourself.
Very true.
On board with the 25 of Gabot, you see that 82 just all over his back bumper.
Just they don't get much closer than that.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, just kind of he's in that bubble of air that it kind of creates behind the rear spoiler. And if you can get the front end of your car right up against that bubble and give them a push, it's just the same as actually physically pushing them and bump drafting in the modern era cars.
It's amazing to learn, like, the ins and outs of each vehicle being so similar yet so incredibly different.
So we see the 60 of Cole letting the leaders down below him. 7.5 laps remain here in race number 1. This is a double header, so I'll have a bit of an intermission while we do our post-race interviews. Then we'll get over to the night portion of this race. As Joe, look at this. The leaders have been caught by that second pack. 3 wide for the lead. Jamar Dumas says, that's mine.
And now it's a blend.
And here's where things are going to get hairy. I know Dumas really wants to stay with his drafting partner in Cannizzaro, but it makes more sense for him to jump down in front of these two. They've had more momentum just like that. A great block there by Dumas. Here comes the 82 of Johnson. He's going to take a peek to the outside. Dumas is not going to be able to cover. Now he's got some help from Cannizzaro. Cannizzaro is a great pusher, very aggressive, and can get the car up to the front. So right now, Johnson is probably in the spot he wants to be, aside from pushing his teammate or having his teammate push him. 6 to go. Dumas still out front.
A little squirrely on that little bump.
Dumas getting a big push there by Gabot. Don't forget, earlier in the race, Gabot was given a push to his teammate Shane Ewing. Ewing got all out of sorts. Just got up underneath him a little bit and sent the car around. Leader's coming up to the lapped car of Adam Stewart. Sponsored tonight's race, Welts Clothing Doubleheader. WeltsClothing.com is the website. Steven's over on Twitch saying, let's go Ace House. Right now, Ace running in P9. Unfortunately for him, has lost the draft. But this is the race right now. We'll jump on board here with the 24 of Jacob Bettis. They're looking 3 wide. Dumas in the middle. He's going to get sucked all the way back.
Always hold my breath when you see 2 rows of 3 line up into a turn.
It is terrifying. Here at Daytona, especially because it's much more narrow than a track like Talladega is. Oh, we see Shu might have graced the wall. And trouble!
He was not able to recover.
Shu sideways, 4 to go. Looks like a single car wreck for the most part. As Cole might have gotten a piece of it. We're going to stay green. Three laps to go. Unfortunately, Philip Scott involved in that one.
I think a couple people were in there.
We'll take a look at that one in just a moment. 3 laps remaining here out front. 6-car fight for the win. Got the 82 of Tim Johnston, Chris Gabot in the 25, Jamar Dumas in the 28. Jacob Bettis is there. John Canizaro Jr. is there, as well as Shane Ewing. So the top 6 all under a blanket right now. And Doziak helping Jonathan Gaston get in there too. Three wide. Canizaro takes a peek to the outside. Him and the 28 come together. That's going to slow the momentum of the 77, but here comes Gaston and Doziak. Gaston a lap down. Doziak in contention. Lap and a half. There's Ewing. He takes a peek to the inside of Bettis. Bettis closes the door. Gabot and Johnston, teammates, side drafting with one another. Bettis, big checkup. And now we have white flag, one more lap around. How is this one going to play out? Canizaro and Dumas on the outside. Bettis pushing Gabot on the inside. In the corners, the inside line definitely has the advantage. Here comes the outside line. They're going to get a little more momentum down the back straightaway. 2 more corners to go. Bettis all over the back bumper of Gabot. Gabot has a car length in front. He can go up to block if he wants. He's not. Big push in the back from Dumas. That's going to send Johnson around trouble. They crash to the line. Gabot is going to win race number 1.
Oh, man. Did they cross the line crashing?
I do believe they did. So Chris Gabot gets the win. Jacob Bettis in P2. Shane Ewing comes home P3. Wow. Let's take a quick look at that one on the replay, because that was something else.
Yeah, what a way to start the season, huh? Look at that guy wave that flag.
So we'll go in. We'll switch this one over to slow-mo. So the field comes out of turn number 4. Little push there from the 28 of Dumas. That upsets the 82. That gets him in the wall. Dumas tries to get down low to avoid him. He's sideways. He gets a push from Cannizzaro, who gets into the 32 of Ewing. That's when the 28 and 82 both get into the wall hard. Doziak trying to power through. And look at Ewing drifting sideways across the line. He'll come home third. Luckily, though, through the magic of video games, all the cars will be fixed and ready to go for race number 2 coming up in just a little bit. So let us take a quick pause here, and we'll start pulling in some of our finishers. First of which will be the driver of the number 32 machine, Shane Ewing. As soon as we're able to get some of these guys over into the interview waiting room. But joining us right now, third place finisher is going to be Shane. He's going to be joined by Joe here.
Hey, Shane, congratulations on the podium finish. You had a strong run. What was your strategy going into the race, and how well did that play out for you?
Really didn't have a strategy. We were just kind of, when those guys first pitted, we just decided we're gonna stay out till the end. The debate was whether we were gonna take tires or not. And then when we pitted, I had just a little bit of damage. I couldn't get back with those guys. And then coming to the end, it was I'd just resided that being there third in the low line or third in the high line, it was. I wasn't going to win the race. I was just going to try and get a good finish, and luckily they kind of bounced off each other, and I kind of slid my way through the grass to third. So I'll take it. That's super speedway racing.
That is indeed. I guess with the first race down, how you feeling headed into the second race?
I was pretty happy with the way the car handled. So that's only going to get better at night. I think we're going to be just fine. Racing should be good and just as exciting as it was the first race.
Awesome. And I'm sure you got some shout outs for us.
Oh yeah, all my boys at Dizzy Motorsports. My mama watches these things all the time. My wife of almost 30 years, and my 2 girls, Haley and Ashley. That's about it. Oh, you guys up in the booth, and TNR, all the admins at TNR do such a great job. I think that'll about cover it.
Sounds great. Well, good luck going into the second race for you.
Thanks, man. Hopefully get to talk to you one more time.
All right, that's Shane Ewing from the Dizzy Motorsports camp. I'm now joined by our second place finisher, driver of the number 24 machine, Jacob Bettis. And, Jacob, second place finish there for you. Talk us through your race. A little hectic there coming to the line.
Yeah, going to the line there, that was just don't be the one that causes the big one for the most part. But Jamar and a couple guys at the start were talking about pitting early around lap 11, and then we get getting closer. They decided to go to about lap 15. I said, screw it, I'm going with them, and then just rode with them the rest of the way and did my best to hold my line and not cause anybody to wreck.
Yeah, and when it came down to pit road, we were just talking to Shane, and Shane, their biggest debate was, okay, are we going to take tires? Do we not take tires? Looks like you wound up not taking it with the rest of the guys. Looking now towards the second race, do you think you're going to change up your strategy at all?
It's possible. It was starting to push a lot towards the end, but it wasn't bad enough to keep up with everybody. So it may just stay the way it was and just take fuel and go.
Awesome. And well, Jacob, before we let you go, I'm sure you have some shout outs. So let's hear them.
The main one's just for you guys having the league and you guys doing the broadcast, and everybody races clean here. So just try to keep it up for the next one, and hopefully I'll be back in here.
Awesome. Well, Jacob, congrats there on the P2 finish, and hopefully we'll get to chat with you coming up after race number 2.
Thank you. See you guys later.
All right. That's Jacob Bettis, our second place finisher. And Joe's now joined by our winner of race number 1 of the Welts Clothing doubleheader, driver of the number 25 machine, Chris Gabot.
Hey, Chris, congratulations on the win today. What was the biggest advantage over the rest of the field today you think you had?
Honestly, my teammates. We kind of worked together all race, and obviously it paid off there at the end. All 3 of us were right up there.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think, how important was teamwork for you? But I guess that answers that, huh?
Oh, yeah. That was the biggest part tonight for sure.
And how did you think your car handled for the race today? Your adjustments worked out?
Yeah, I was pretty loose at the start of the race. When I was up on the high line, I was getting really loose on entry, and I was kind of getting worried. But as the run went on, I just kept getting tighter and tighter. I ended up not taking tires on the pit stop, which I think most people didn't take tires. And yeah, it was pretty tight. It was kind of getting tough to hold it on the bottom at the very end there, but overall, it worked out.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. I'm sure you got some shout outs for us.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, shout out Mom and Grandma. I think they might be watching. My teammates at Dizzy Motorsports, specifically Tim and Shane, for being here tonight, and you guys at Tabletop Trio for putting on these broadcasts. I love them.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. Hopefully we're talking to you in a little bit again.
All right, sounds good.
All right, that's Chris Cabot, our winner for tonight's race number 1 of the Welts Clothing doubleheader. We are going to step aside and take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to have the second race of the Welts Clothing doubleheader here at Daytona. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. and welcome back to race number 2 of the Total Nonstop Racing Welts Clothing Doubleheader here at Daytona. Cars now just getting ready to make their qualifying run here. About a 5-minute session to let everyone get out there, kind of shake the car down. Different weather, different track temps for race number 2, Joe, and it's going to be interesting to see how the weather changes things because it's colder and the track temp is going to be much grippier.
Yeah, it's track temp is all the way down to 76 degrees. It's what, a 40 or 50 degree difference, just about?
At least, yeah. So that's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how that is how that's going to affect the car. And I know typically when it comes to colder tracks and colder track temperatures, you're going to have a lot more grip. So more grip means you're going to be able to go faster. You're going to be able to, you're not going to be sliding around as much. So that could be interesting as this race goes on.
Well, they definitely needed some grip in the first race, so hopefully that helps them out in the second one.
That is for sure. We're going to jump on board now with the 47 of Ace House just to get an idea of how this car is going to be running on the track. Fairly smooth surface, not too many bumps. So handling not really going to come into play here. And the big thing when it comes to qualifying, Joe, is the second you get a 0x. So just from making a little bit of contact, pushing the guy in front, iRacing says, nope, you made contact with another car. This lap does not count for qualifying.
Yeah.
So everyone is just kind of minding their own business, giving a little bit of space, pushing that air bubble that we had mentioned before the last race. And that's going to push them along and, hopefully get these guys rolling here for qualifying.
Let's see where they end up.
So far, Shane Ewing with the fastest lap, 47.55.
That's what do they have to beat? It was 45 in the first race, I think someone had.
I believe so, yeah. So we're going to see these guys get up to speed. This will definitely be the faster lap. And if I'm someone right now, I might actually want to be the 60 of Ryan Cole, where he's far enough back, he's going to use that draft and almost use it as a bit of a slingshot. He might have a really good lap here. So let's keep an eye out here on the 60. What is he going to be able to do? As, yeah, just like that, Cole goes P2 with a 46.74. He was just far enough back that he was able to kind of grab onto that draft and really pull him along.
Yeah, the science of the draft is insane.
Right? And I feel like for anyone who's never experienced the draft, and obviously you and I never have in real life, but the closest thing you can do to experiencing the draft is when you're on the highway. Get behind an 18-wheeler. When you get closer, you almost feel your car start to shake and vibrate. That's because that truck is punching a much larger hole in the air, and it's making the air behind the truck easier to pass through, and you're kind of feeling the air buffeting against your car. The second you pull out of line, you're getting hit with the full force of the air in front of you, and you kind of feel like you have to accelerate even harder just to get around that truck.
That's when I was in my Jeep,
kind of what it's like. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like in real life, as a real life example. And the other thing you'll see these guys do a lot is what's called side drafting. Oh, Philip Scott trying to make it down pit road.
You missed.
Misses his marks just a little bit. But when it comes to side drafting, another example when you're just driving on the highway, you're driving, minding your own business, and next thing you know, a truck comes alongside you and flies by you. And you almost feel like you're slowing down because they're literally dumping all the air that was in front of their car. They're taking that air and throwing it on front of your car, and that actually does wind up slowing you down.
Yeah, it's ooh, everyone's a little wobbly over here.
Just try to get everything they possibly can. As the clock reaches 0. And
Yeah,
trouble.
That's one way to end qualifying.
Johnston and Dumas come together again. Luckily, through the magic of magic, these cars are all going to be they're going to be A-okay. As we see Tim Johnston here, our pole sitter for now. There shouldn't be anyone else out on track, and there isn't. So just like that, we are going to see race number 2 get ourselves ready to go here at Daytona. A ton of fun, and this one is going to be another 40-lap race. As we'll get the field up and running, let's take a look here at the starting lineup for race number 2. On the pole is going to be Tim Johnston with a lap of 45.368. Jonathan Gaston on his outside, just about 1/10 behind. Jamar Dumas, Chris Gabot make up row number 2. Row number 3 has Shane Ewing and Jason Shu. Row number 4, Ace House fan favorite in P7. Philip Scott on his outside in 8th. 9th place has the 60 of Ryan Cole and Jacob Bettis, our 2nd place finisher in the first race. John Canizaro Jr. and Steven Dosiak in 12th. In row number 7, we have Garrett Gleason and Robert Tripp, and closing out our 15-car field is the number 4 of Adam Stewart. So the field making their way out on track. As everyone getting ready to race. This is going to be an interesting one. Under the lights, like we'd mentioned, track having a lot more grip.
I know I bring this up at least once a race here, and I didn't in the beginning, so I'll bring it up now. Love all the paint jobs on the cars.
Definitely, and Tyler Avery jumping in chat saying that that 77 car is a good looking machine. And I have to agree, a different paint scheme he's running here tonight as opposed to the day race that we just had. But that one is it's gorgeous.
I'm such a fan of night races.
There's just something about the shine that all these cars have.
Yeah.
So the field making their way through turn number 3 right now. We are going to be ready to roll here momentarily. Tim Johnson, Jonathan Gaston, 2 drivers just missed out on the podium last race.
Mm-hmm.
Race number 1's winner, Chris Gabot, starting in P4. The pace car getting ready to pull off the track. The field in the hands of the 82 of Tim Johnson through the start zone. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Daytona. Swelt's Clothing doubleheader. Looks like Jason Shu had started from the pits.
Interesting. And 2 laps behind already? That's got to be a bug.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a bug there. As Johnston, Gaston, side by side, Chris Gabot there, as well as Jamar Dumas. And that 28 and 82 still attached to the bumper just the way they finished the race. Although there's not a wall between them this time.
Yeah, for now. Don't speak illy of the wall, Bob.
That is true. The broadcaster curse is absolutely a thing. We know that all too well here.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, the field just kind of feeling things out, not really looking to do anything too wild and crazy. They know, they say, hey, look, this is a 39 lap. You know, we have 39 to go. No point in making anything crazy happen. Maybe just trying to see, okay, what is my car going to do in this situation? What's going to happen here? What if I do this? How do I like being in this position versus that position? Just kind of feeling out the car. That's what the first half of this run is going to be.
Yeah.
And then it's planning on, all right, do we take tires when we fuel? We don't need to. If there's a yellow, of course we're taking tires. But oftentimes, Joe, and how many times have we seen it where one race in a doubleheader, completely clean and green. Race number 2, pure chaos.
Oh, it's happened. It's like they get the first one out of the way and they relax and kind of calm down, and then the second one is just, you know, well, I had 50 laps to warm up or 60 laps to warm up. We could do a little bit better, and then that's where, you know, you end up tapping into someone and all the chaos happening.
And not to be the bearer of bad news, but race number 1 was caution free.
Yeah. Well, now you said it.
I did. Give me chaos. But a bit of a programming note. Coming up in March, we're going to be relaunching the Tuesday Night Dash Series here on the Tabletop Trio family of networks. The Speed Racing League is going to be driving in the mini stocks at a shortened season, so that is going to be a ton of fun. That'll be Tuesday nights at 9:30 Eastern, but that is not starting until beginning of March. Which those guys moving over from the Xfinity cars into those dash cars, and those little 4-cylinder monsters they're just so much fun to drive.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Meanwhile, out front, Chris Cabot is leading Steven Dosiak there on the outside. Doze is one of our in-race reporters.
We seem to be having slight technical issues on our ticker. We will have that resolved momentarily.
Yeah, just trying to get that set aside. Let's try that. There we go.
There we go.
Now it's updated. Never got changed over from qualifying when it should have happened by itself.
Love that.
This is why we can't have nice things. But there is Doze, driver of the number 58 machine. Changed his number over the offseason. Took the year off, but he's back racing. Now he's got a rear bumper filled with the number 25 of Gabot.
I'm interested to see what happens this race, kind of now knowing what everyone's pit plans were, if people are going to change and kind of try to match the other guys, or, you know, make adjustments again. I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I don't know if they're going to be doing the same thing that they did last race where, you know, oh, will we take tires? Won't we take tires? I don't think tires are going to be the answer here.
Yeah.
However, the second there's a yellow, I am taking 4 fresh tires immediately.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Is there's, from what we saw in the first race, I don't think tires were make or break, but you know, if you can get them, why not?
Definitely, and look at this 3x3x3. Here comes Ace House charging up the middle. That's going to leave Ryan Cole there stuck on the outside. He's going to try to get in front of Canizaro. Can't quite do it. There's Adam Stewart in the number 4 machine. That Welts Clothing car is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Make sure you check them out. weltsclothing.com is the sponsor for tonight's doubleheader. Great crew over there at Welts Clothing. Meanwhile, out front, Doziak to the inside, Shane Ewing on the outside. Doze is not going to lead that lap. That one's going to go to Shane Ewing. But 2x2x2 pace laps at 200 miles an hour.
Whew.
And it's always
A lot of
nerve-wracking. Yeah, it's always nerve-wracking too, seeing them come out of turn 2 like that, and they all kind of drift down the track, and you're like, oh, are they wrecking? Okay, no, they're good.
Yeah. It's jarring coming off of these banks.
That is for sure. And it's always fun seeing these different camera angles that we have here. These cameras are brought to you by our friends at Track Cams for Gourmets. You can check them out on social media and get yourself these cameras.
Johnny Williams in the chat. Hi.
Hey, Johnny, hope to see you out there on the track with us soon. Hope all is well.
For everybody who is watching, who do you think is going to win the race?
I think right now it's just a big old toss-up as we're on board here with the 58 of Doziak. Clear track out in front of him.
I personally think I always want to be in third place. I need someone to follow.
That is fair. And
Don't
this
make me
way, if
set
the
the
first
pace.
two wreck each other, you're automatically first.
Right? I just moved back. I don't want to follow someone.
Big run there coming from the outside. Doze tries to peek up to try to throw a block. Here comes Ewing to the outside. He's got a bumper filled with Ace House. As House trying to give a good push there. It's great to see Johnny saying all is well, and he's just waiting for the new wheel and pedals to be shipped. Which is awesome. Looking forward to seeing you back out on track, Johnny. Couple of cars get squirrely there in the back.
Great move by Cabot, though.
Sometimes these fan shots are a little uncanny valley for us. Sometimes you just don't want to be too close to the fans in the stands like that.
The virtual camping, though.
Definitely looks like a party. That or right along Lake Lloyd there on the backstretch. All is fun.
Yeah, I brought that up during the quick intermission. There's a lake inside Daytona that is 29 acres that is stocked with fresh fish and is used for like boat racing.
Which is wild to say, yeah, I'm going to go race a boat at Daytona International Speedway.
Or just, I'm going to go fishing in Daytona.
Right? Oh, in the town? No, the racetrack. And that's when you sit there and be like, are you joking or are you serious? What's going on here?
Right? Can you imagine just watching NASCAR by your RV fishing? Like, where am I?
I mean, people will do that.
I'm sure I would too.
All I gotta say is I'm excited for the real life NASCAR season to start this Sunday, Daytona 500. I will be locked to the couch watching this one.
So we've single filed.
Which I know oftentimes that single file line would signify they're ready to pit, but I don't think they're quite ready.
Because it's only 15 laps. I mean, they did last race. They did pit at 15, or at least some people did. But I'm assuming they're going to change up. Oh, nope.
Nope, there goes Doze, there goes House, there goes Gaston. House flying in there. Looks like he was able to keep it on target. A lot of cars heading down there this way. Gaston is in, House, Dumas, Bettis, Doziak, Gleason, Shu.
Looks like more this race than last race. More people pit at lap 15.
I really do think that they House had a bit of an issue. He might have had speeding on pit road.
Well, he might have.
So the rest of the field heading down. So a tough break there. Leaders now coming in. Gabo is in.
Ooh.
It's like the top four. That was close.
That was very close.
Don't think that's going to warrant a penalty. But that is going to give the lead over to Ryan Cole, newcomer here at TNR. Good looking number 60 machine right there, getting pushed by Cannizzaro and Welts. Honestly, three of the better paint schemes out on the track right now, leading 1, 2, 3. But will they pit this time? No, they're not. And I definitely feel like the first half of drivers were almost running this race backwards, where you're saying, okay, we know we can do, say, 26, 27 laps on fuel. We're going to pit with 26 or 27 laps to go and just kind of hope it all sticks. Whereas some of these guys are going to say, you know what, we're going to run this thing completely dry, and if there's a yellow, that's going to benefit us.
Right, yeah.
So a couple of differing strategies, which always makes this interesting. And now it's that cat and mouse game, kind of saying, all right, we have this lead. We're tracking down the guys who have already pit. Let's get them a lap down. Let's try to get as big of a lead as we can. And if the yellow comes out, we're going to pit. They'll get their laps back. But we're still going to be in front of them because they got their laps back. Or they could stay a lap down, get fresh tires, potentially be a little faster, but they'll still be a lap down.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of those things where there's 15 cars on track. It doesn't really give me that, wreck fest kind of vibe tonight.
Though you never know.
Though you never know, that is true.
It only takes one sneeze. Ask me how I know.
And especially since these top three are 35, almost 36 seconds in front of the rest of the field. What does that look like, you say? Well, this. You see the 77 here in the middle of your screen. He's entering turn 3 now. The car in 4th place is coming to the start-finish line now.
It's a bit of a gap off.
Just a little tiny gap. And now they've got 4 cars with Garrett Gleason joining the fray. Gleason right now is saying, you know what? I hope everyone wrecks. I'll get that lucky dog. I'll be back on the lead lap. And everyone else will kind of be stuck.
Yeah. So now we've got, what, 4 little pods?
Pretty much 4 little pods. Well, 3 pods and Ace House, who looks to be just kind of stuck there by himself after getting that speeding penalty. There's House all by his lonesome there down the back straightaway. Which is such a tough break because he was having a great run. Both races kind of just bad luck happening. So taking a quick look through the field, here's the 60 of Ryan Cole, newcomer here to the TNR League. John Cannizzaro Jr. in second, the Wild Child. Behind him is Adam Stewart with the Welts Clothing Machine. You're going to have to go quite a way back to the 25 of Chris Cabot. He's got his Dizzy Motorsports teammates with him, as well as the 99 of Philip Scott. So there's Cabot, Johnson, Scott, and Shane Ewing. The third group we're seeing is right here, led by the 58 of Steven Doziak. He's got Jamar Dumas, Jonathan Gaston in there, Jacob Bettis as well. And then back to the lead group of cars, there's Garrett Gleason, the first car 1 lap down. So the question here is, do you think we're going to get a yellow tonight?
You know, if we're going by just the first one, no until there's 3 laps left.
That's fair. I think I'll take that. I'll take those odds.
It's a little interesting now, though, because in the first race, they kind of ran one big pack all the way through. In this race, it seems to have segregated a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit. And I think that's because the one group was pitting. These guys are only 3 cars. There's more cars in the other groups, but they're all about even as well. As the leader's now heading down pit road. Just put a poll in the chat. Where will there be a yellow? And toss in the comments when you think that yellow is going to happen.
No wrong answers unless you type in lap 41.
Or like potato. Potato is not a number. So with that, with Cole, Cannizzaro, and Stewart heading down pit road, that lead went from 35 seconds to 3 seconds. Leaders are coming off now. Here comes that second pack. They've caught him. And the third pack is almost here too. So we'll move Gabo to the point. And we'll see where that 60 and 77 decide to filter through.
Yeah, it's if you're the 60 and the 77, do you want to fall back a little bit to catch the other pack, to get more cars, to hopefully catch the whole, the group in the front? Like, what's your game plan?
I think if I'm the 60 and the 77, I'm going to keep doing what we're doing. 2 cars is going to be a lot slower than a pack of 5 or 6 cars, which is what they have right now. And I think I'm sitting there looking at the lap times or looking at my interval in car and saying, all right, you know what? This time by, so let's take a look here. As they cross the line, let's look at the gap between Canizaro and Doziak. We'll call that 3 seconds, just for rounding's sake. Let's pay attention now the next time they're around to see how quickly that larger pack is closing in on the smaller pack, or are they far enough away to pick up a bit of draft? I mean, right now, Cole is only a second behind Ewing, and about a second is where that draft actually starts to kick in. So they may not even need to wait.
Yeah, they've definitely been catching them. That's for sure.
And they have officially caught the front pack. Meanwhile, that gap went from 3 seconds to about 4 seconds.
Yeah, why join the pack when you could just pass the pack?
Exactly. And if I'm in that second group, starting with Doze and company, I'm sitting there saying, boys, get as racy as you want. I'm going to, we'll be right there. Side-by-side cars are slower than single file.
Looks like Ewing was like, I think they're faster than you guys are. I'm going to hop on the high line.
Yeah. As looks like Philip Scott heads down pit road by himself.
Is that his first time hitting?
I believe it might be. No, this is second time through.
I wonder what issue he had.
I wonder if he didn't get it filled with fuel enough.
Yeah, 33 seconds is definitely a long pit time for.
Very interesting.
Because isn't fuel fill up like 15 seconds?
Give or take between 10 to 15 seconds if you're taking a full tank. With these guys, you're probably only taking a splash and go.
So that had to be either damage or tires.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that issue might have been.
Really interesting.
Because right now, out front, we've got a great side-by-side battle. The 77 stuck to the back bumper of the 60. So far, votes are 100% yes, there will be a yellow.
I mean, they're definitely racing hard, so.
So right now, this is the battle for the win. Top 5 going at it.
Ten to go.
And you can see that second gap there, that second pack in the distance. They're single file. They're really trying hard to catch that front pack, and they might. But they still have about 4 seconds to go. Last thing they want is for them to start getting fighty and racy.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at the 58, it doesn't seem like they are gaining or losing any substantial time, maybe 0.02 to 0.03 seconds a lap.
Yeah, so I mean, if I'm them, I'm just kind of hoping, all right, someone wreck. Let's just catch up the easy way here,
Yeah.
because that gap is staying just about the same.
As I say that now, they're up like 0.4 seconds. So, never mind. They're falling behind.
Yeah, I think it looks like, the 58 of Doziak fell towards the back of that group. And because of that, that kind of slowed them down a bit.
Yeah.
But we have 8 laps to go. Welts Clothing Doubleheader. Make sure you check them out online, weltsclothing.com. Pick up some merch from them. Really, really cool shirts, hats, hoodies. A couple of fashion jerseys in there as well. Just super cool stuff.
Don't forget my favorite, the boonie.
That is dope. That is really cool. Cole right now is the leader. He's got Chris Cabot on his inside and John Cannizzaro all over his back bumper. The 60 and the 77 have been working together all race long, and the Wild Child has not left the back bumper of Ryan Cole this race.
No. And Scott has snuck in behind them too.
Yeah, Philip Scott a lap down. He's the first car 1 lap down. So he, out of everyone, is kind of saying, guys, please wreck. I want this yellow so badly right now. We'll take a look here at the second group of cars led by Jamar Dumas. He's getting a big push there from the 72 of Jonathan Gaston. Mr. Gaston, as the students call him, leads a sim racing club at his school, which is very cool.
Yeah, it's so good.
If I had that when I was in school, that would be just
I would have went
the
to class.
coolest,
I would have went to class way more often.
right? Instead of, skipping and playing Rock Band.
It would have been skipping, but playing something else. It would have been great.
That's true. And if anything, you're just learning defensive driving.
Yes.
So meanwhile,
be-
out front, Gabo leads over Johnson and Cole. Gabo, the winner of the first race, really has all of his ducks in a row here tonight.
Yeah.
Will he sweep? That is the next question.
Yeah. I mean, he's got Johnson behind him. And Ewing.
Yeah, the 3 Dizzy Motorsports drivers all lined up nose to tail to nose to tail.
Yeah. I think I don't think they're gonna, move out of the way. I want to get a win. I think they're gonna try to give it to him.
Yeah, I think team orders right now are, as long as Dizzy Motorsports wins, we don't care who wins.
Yeah.
But I think right now the 77 is getting frustrated, just hoping that somebody is going to give him a push.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised.
in a race where it's 3 against 2, the 3 cars are usually going to be faster.
Yeah, I'm
Usually.
surprised that Scott's not pushing him up a little bit. I guess nothing changes in his book. But...
Yeah. Plus, I think he wants to be careful where if there is a wreck and he has an incident during the wreck, he doesn't become the lucky dog. That would go to Ace House.
Right.
But at the same time, if I'm Philip Scott, I see Ace House is right there. That's a fight for position and for the lucky dog spot.
That is true.
Well, we've got 2 laps to go. They're side by side by side. Still anyone's race. 4 of Adam Stewart down on the apron, letting the field go. But the field sees the white flag. One more lap around here at Daytona. Gabot leads it. He's got the 60 of Cole to the outside. Dizzy Motorsports 1, 2, 3 on the inside. Philip Scott and Ace House, both cars 1 lap down, so they are not racing for the win. But is that push going to come? Huge push there from Cannizzaro. Here comes Cole to the outside. Not quite enough. Gabot pushes up the track to block. A little bit more contact. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Who's going to get it? At the line, Gabot!
Another spin out.
Wrecking behind him is the 82 of Tim Johnston.
I think that's 2 for 2.
That is. Wow, what a finish. Chris Gabot, unofficially, 1/100th of a second.
I was going to say, what was the timings?
Right now, our timing and scoring is showing 0.00.
Yeah, that's a photo finish.
Wow, what a finish. Well, we are going to take another look at that finish. Because, oh my, that was incredible.
Yeah, really. What a way to start off the season. Just 2 banger races.
2 incredibly clean races that were just magnificent. Let's take a look here as the field drives their way through turns 3 and 4. So Gabot's there on the inside. Cole on the outside. And let's see if we can try to pause it right at the line. So just a little bit more. We'll go frame by frame. So we see the 82 sideways. He gets a little bit of help right there from the 32 of Shane Ewing. And that is the finish.
Yeah, it's a hood.
Not even. It's by a fender. That is your finish. And even the 3rd place battle.
I was going to say it's also a fender.
Also a fender. Oh, you want to go for the next position? Also a fender.
Yeah. You know, if Johnston wasn't sideways, he probably would have taken 3rd.
He absolutely would have, because if we're going to back
I think
up
he bumped
that much
himself.
more, he did. I think he got right there into Dizzy, or right in the 25. He pushed up the track, got into the 60 just a little bit. And because of that air almost kind of sucked him around.
Yeah. However, him getting into the 60 might have given Gabot the win.
Yeah, right there. Kind of got the 60 sideways. And there is the finish. What an absolutely phenomenal finish. And right now we're going to try to drag some of these drivers up into the interview waiting room as Joe, I think you've caught up to our 3rd place finisher, the wild child himself, John Cannizzaro Jr.
Hey, John, what a great podium finish for you today. What was the biggest challenge you had on the track today?
Biggest challenge was trying to stay behind the 60 car and not get impatient about the fact that I couldn't get him out into the lead. Um, I brought Ryan along this year for the season. He's a very good friend of mine. He's my endurance teammate, so I thought it'd be fun to try to get him his first win.
Mhm.
I think my dashboard was lighting up nothing but red for the last 10 laps because my oil temperature was through the roof. The water temperature was all but gone. I'm kind of a little bit upset I didn't get him the win, but at least we got a 2-3.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with 2-3. Looking back, is there anything you would have done differently to kind of improve the finish?
We had I feel like I'm probably one of the better pushers, if not the best. I'm not gonna flex my ego a little bit too much, but I had this weird thing where I could lean back through 3 and 4 and get him just absolutely so far ahead into turn 1. But we just lost so much time in the corner doing it that I don't really know if it would have worked out or not. So I kind of got him a little bit sideways to 3 and 4 in the last lap. I put my foot to the firewall and held on and hope and prayed his car kept going forward. So I think the only thing I would change is probably be a little bit more sensible about it instead of trying to push him through the fence.
Hey, it works, right? I'm sure you got some shout outs for us.
Yeah, I gotta thank Ryan for coming along this season. I don't know, he was supposed to come last season, but he had some things to do. So glad to see him come this season. Thank you to Garrett for letting me come back here and there for this league. You guys put on the broadcast. Tyler, I think he was in chat and he paints all my Gen 4 cars. My beautiful hand painted car that I ran today, and the one from the first race he also painted. So big shout out to him for that. And the rest of the field, it's always clean racing and good racing here at TNR. We don't have the big 40 car fields that some other leagues have, but we have better racing than those guys do. So always appreciate that.
For sure. Well, thanks again, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
All right, that is John Cannizzaro, our third place finisher. And now joining us is our second place finisher, newcomer here to TNR, driver of the number 60 machine, Ryan Cole. And Ryan, first of all, congratulations on that second place finish. You and John was just saying, you guys work together, endurance racing partners, now racing together here at TNR. Talk us through that race.
Yeah, it was a good race. I missed my pit box during the first race, and that we probably would have done the same thing in race 1 if it wasn't for my stupidity. But yeah, John was working with me the whole race. We were practicing together, and obviously we know how each other race, so we were able to work real well. Yeah, it was fun. We were riding like 2 of us together, and we were pulling away from the rest of the pack. So as the race was going, we were thinking if we just stuck together, no one was going to catch us.
And, we had noticed that a few times where right after the pit cycle, you and John were kind of by yourself. You were starting to track down the Dizzy guys, and we were kind of debating on the broadcast saying, all right, would it be smarter for them to kind of lay off, let the bigger pack catch them, and then everyone go towards the front? Or do you guys just try to go for the front anyway? And next thing you know, the two of you were side by side with the leaders. I mean, obviously you're not going to plan to be that far back and catch up, but I'm sure that felt pretty good knowing that, all right, you guys are working together, you're getting that move going, and it almost wound up getting you the win there.
Yeah, I think we were a quarter panel away from clearing John because I wasn't gonna bail out and leave John to dry. He had gotten me to that point, and I wasn't going to leave him. But I'm also thinking if we bring in the rest of the cars, then that just increases the chance of the big one happening. And I'm not a fan of racing the big packs. I'd rather it would just be one team versus one team and just kind of settle it out between ourselves. And because if a caution comes out or the pack forms, then who knows what could happen. It's Daytona.
Definitely. And we saw there 2 clean races back to back. Your first podium here with TNR. Before we let you go, I'm sure you have some shout outs, so let's hear him.
Well, thanks to John for inviting me to the league and letting me race. And shout out to my parents. They're both tuned in to watch. I know my dad was very excited to watch me race, and so shout out to them back home.
Awesome. Well, Ryan, congrats there on P2, and looking forward to seeing you out there next week.
All right. Cheers, man.
All right, that is Ryan Cole, our second place finisher. And now Joe is down in victory lane yet again, 2 for 2, sweeping the weekend with Chris Cabot.
Hey, Chris, welcome back. You indeed went 2 for 2. What was the biggest challenge you faced on the second race?
We didn't really have a strategy coming into it, and it was kind of the same thing in the first race. As far as pitting goes, first race, not everybody, but a good chunk of them came right when the fuel window opened, and we ended up basically running our tank till it went dry. Tonight, it seemed like about half the field pitted when the pit window opened, and we figured as a group, they're probably going to gain too much time on us, if we stay out for too long. So we came in the next lap, and it ended up working out great for us.
With that, you had the 1, 2, 3 Dizzy guys. Was the plan the entire race to kind of just, you're in the front, let's push you out, try to get your second win? Or I feel like Johnson kind of sacrificed himself both races to get you the win.
Yeah, I definitely felt a little guilty about that. I don't know if towards the end, once those guys were on our outside, that was kind of the plan, just because they couldn't really get out to try to make a move on me. I told them, please try to win this if you guys have a chance to. And I think they would have if they would have cleared that second line, but just never got the chance.
Gotcha. Well, you gave us your shout outs, but you're here again, so you want to give us your shout outs?
Yeah, one more. I forgot the first race. Shout out to my cats, Gigi and Norman.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your 2 first place finishes tonight, and good luck next week.
Hey, thanks a lot.
All right, that is our winner who sweeps the doubleheader, Chris Cabot. And Joe, let's take a look here at the final standings for tonight's race. This was a ton of fun, and this is one that we see Chris Cabot sweeping the weekend. Ryan Cole comes home officially 9/1000ths of a second behind Cabot. John Canizaro Jr. comes home in P3, 66/1000ths of a second, and Tim Johnston 72/1000ths of a second. The top 4 drivers all less than 1/10 of a second behind each other. So a very, very close finish there. Shane Ewing comes home in P5, Jamar Dumas in 6th, Jonathan Gaston in 7th, Jacob Bettis 8th, Stephen Dosiak in 9th, Philip Scott 1 lap down in 10th. And he was saying there during the race, he forgot to check fuel when he came down the pit, so the crew did not put any fuel in his car. So that's why he had to come down a second time. And well, he definitely made that one interesting there. His battle with him and Ace House were incredible, trying to get the lucky dog if a yellow were to come out. But unfortunately, no yellow for them. Adam Stewart comes home P12 in the Welts Clothing Machine. Jason Shue 13th. Garrett Gleason 14th. Robert Tripp in 15th. So that will just about do it for tonight's race. Next week, here on the Tabletop Trio Podcast Network, TNR will be racing at Iowa, the short track, 3/4 mile racetrack. Very fun, very bumpy. And with the marbles that build up on the track, this could get pretty interesting as that race goes on.
Can't wait.
Definitely going to be a lot of fun. So for one final time, make sure you check us out online, tabletoptrio.com. You're going to know exactly when all of our races are. Our podcast is as well. And we're going to be doing some other very fun things here, both on YouTube and Twitch. So if you like what you saw, definitely like this video. Give us a follow on Twitch. You could subscribe here on YouTube as well. And without any further ado, for one final time, I'm Bob.
I'm Joe.
This has been Total Nonstop Racing League, the Welts Clothing Double here at Daytona. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.